A very, very commonly overlooked feature in WFM platforms are time banks. In maybe the last 6 months, every single time we've filled in an RFP, anytime we've presented, there's always been almost an omission on the requirement of time banks. Time banks are these fancy calculators. Time types can go and credit or debit these time banks. A time type is normally the label on the hours, meaning I've done 6 hours of regular work. I did 3 hours of overtime. I did 2 hours of training. So time type describes the type of time. And depending on which time type is worked, it will trigger either a credit or a debit in that time bank. So over time, that time bank will either increase in value and or decrease in value. And this is how you can keep track of really important things in your organization or of people's hours to make sure that you're always fully compliant. Very common examples include things like training hours. So making sure that you're capturing all hours or training hours on a specific type of certification. You could have hours worked in a specific role for seniority or for promotion to a new level. Then you can also have time banks to track things like hours worked in a long period of time, in a year, in a quarter. So whatever it is you need to track, time banks end up being critical for any sort of WFM deployment. And if you don't have time banks that can meet very complex needs where you have different time types that go and credit and debit these banks with minimum and maximum thresholds, you run into some very serious issues. And on top of that, you want to be able to audit these time banks to make sure that you have a full trace of every single credit and debit that happened within that time log. So you always have full auditability, full traceability. And that's an important piece in WFM that is always overlooked, yet always made use of during the implementation and deployment.